Welcome back to the channel. Super excited to be back. If you didn't know, I was actually in Europe for about the last 3-4 days. We had a trip to France and to Switzerland, and it was definitely life changing. Such an amazing experience with me and my wife out there. And while on this trip, I had some thoughts that came to mind because we sent out a couple of trades via the app and everything, but I had so many members that we're starting to really apply and starting to really click with this Liberty system that I've created. And, I love to see that whether I was there or whether I was, in the trenches with them on the live sessions, they were able to catch these opportunities with or without me based off of what I've taught them. And that's when it started to hit me, what has really changed in the last year for me and how I educate my students. And these are 3 trading tips that really made trading a lot easier because before that, trading was hard. So let's get into it. So, tip number 1 is leaning more into a mechanical trading system approach versus a subjective trading approach. Now, I've made videos in the past talking about this, but what I mean with mechanical trading approach is that a lot of times when we learn, what I've taught in the past, things like smart money concepts, supply and demand, is that there's a lot of subjectivity to whether a setup is there or not, right? We have to really kind of, guess, is this order block going to be one that, gets a good reaction, or am I really reading the trend correctly, et cetera, et cetera. With the Liberty system that I have in place, which is a breakout strategy around session timings, right? It creates a consistency that happens every single day in the market. So it doesn't mean that we're going to trade every single day, but we can count on the fact that our strategy has no room for misjudgments, right? We have only so many scenarios that can happen once the breakout of that range starts to occur. And we have different ways to play that as far as managing the trade. So anytime we can create a trading system or strategy that we know is going to create setups at least on a daily basis, and we know exactly how to navigate our stop loss, our take profits, etc., it creates a lot of a simpler approach and a lot more consistent approach, especially for new members that have little to no experience trading. Number 2 is setting very strict trade management rules. And what I mean by that is there's a very famous quote in the trading world that is, if you want to become profitable or more profitable, you need to let winners run and cut losers short. But not many people really talk about what that looks like or how do we actually execute that game plan. And for me, especially with the Liberty system, we know that we're going to be targeting 3-to-1 risk to reward setups on a continuous basis. And we're always going to move our stop loss to break even after being up 1R multiple, basically the same amount that we're risking. As soon as we're up that much in profit, we're moving our stops to break even no matter what. Kind of ties into number 1 with the subjectivity rule, right? Where if you try to use your judgment on a unique setup every single time, there's going to be a lot of situations where you're going to close a trade early because you psych yourself out. And if you would have just followed strict rules, you would have allowed the trade to fully play out. See, a lot of people, they can learn a strategy and they know where to get in the market. But then once that trade is live, the emotions start to kick in. They really, start seeing things like news coming up. They start seeing, certain candlestick formations that make them a little bit antsy, right? And so they start cutting themselves out of trades that end up running for more than 3-to-1 risk to reward, right? Sometimes we have setups that go 4-to-1, 5-to-1. I've even seen setups go 7+to-1 risk to reward ratio. And sometimes we close it out very early because, again, we psych ourselves out. That is taken out of the equation when we follow hard set rules when it comes to the trade management approach. The same thing goes for, cutting losses short. If we understand that with this breakout strategy, we're going to have fake outs that happen, we identify some candlestick reversal patterns that are going to basically, show us, hey, this setup is not going to work out. Maybe we can close out that trade about half of our multiple loss instead of taking a full, stop loss of 1R multiple, 1%, etc. And for our third and final tip of the day, it's all about capital. It's all about being able to have sizable amount in your trading account. See, trading was hard until we started to realize that we need to look at trading as a performance based thing, not a money based thing. And what I mean by that is that we are so focused on the dollar amounts that we want to make in order to be able to live a certain lifestyle, pay our bills, buy this or that, etc. But at the end of the day, the markets don't care about your personal goals. They don't care about your dreams. It's all about numbers. It's all about psychology. It's all about, at the end of the day, making more than you lose. And so if we actually track our performance on a percentage basis, the same way that financial institutions, banks, the biggest money holders in the world, the way that they do things is percentage based. It's not money based. So with that said, you want to get your hands on sizable capital. Now, in 2024, obviously the landscape has changed a lot when it comes to brokers, when it comes to prop firms, when it comes to, having access to capital, especially if you're a US based client. So you want to get a prop firm account or find a way to get a sizable amount of capital that you're able to actually trade in a percentage based mode where you can risk half of a percent, maybe 2% per setup, and you're still able to see sizable gains, or at least head into the trajectory of sizable gains instead of trying to force yourself to flip small accounts or trying to make magic happen in the markets, which is possible, but it's not probable. And you want to start building the right habits as a trader very early on into your career. You don't want to have to change the way that you approach your psychology or your expectations of how you actually get to a certain amount of profit or winnings in the market. So apply these 3 tips, guys, and you're gonna notice a huge difference in your consistency and really realizing the goals that you have when it comes to trading. But if you guys want to check out the vlog from France and Switzerland, I'm gonna go ahead and put the link right up here for you guys to check it out. It was an amazing trip. Also, guys, if you need funding solutions, like I talked about in tip number 3, I am partnered with TradexMastery. You can find the link to that prop firm in my bio. Other than that, you want to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications for more future videos and content as I help you become a successful trader in 2024 and beyond. So much love, and I'll see y'all on the next one.